BitMEX fires back, and that is one of the blow for crypto market. And then Trump testing positive for coronavirus, that's another blow for the market. Now for stock market, that's one blow, but for crypto market, that is a double blow. If you look at the price, you can understand that on a 4-hour chart we can see a sharp drop from around 10,900 towards 10,480. So $400 drop in just the price of Bitcoin. Now that's on a shorter time frame, right? If you closely follow the price, you kind of get to see those. But if you are able to look at different patterns and what really is happening with the price, then you will understand that's not a big issue, because the reality is something different. Now, yes, even though the price action looks a bit of bullish in long term, you still have bearish indicators kind of getting towards that area, meaning that bearishness may be pushing out that cautious symbol. Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where we discuss crypto and science behind investing regularly. If you saw value for your time, please do support the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Now let's look at what really is happening with the crypto market, right? When that news came out about BitMEX, this is really happening, right? More than 32,000 Bitcoin, that's about $335 million. That was withdrawn from BitMEX after, the regulators, government authorities came in there. And as they are charging the owners for money laundering, issues are getting a bit serious. Now, at the same time, what you have to understand is it's now for Bitcoin, right? Here, this particular individual is tweeting out that, so now, not only has my Bitcoin transaction been stuck for almost a day, but it's also lost over $400 in value since BitMEX news broke out. So that is kind of something you can understand easily there. This is, and Galgatron highlights, this is how Bitcoin loses the game in the end. Now, yes, the transaction speed is an issue, and this volatility is becoming another issue, another blow for those kind of investors. Now, what you have to understand is that particular drop of Bitcoin, $400, that's while you closely follow the price of Bitcoin. Now, if you actually zoom out and look at Bitcoin chart on a 3-day, this is what you can see. Now, here, previously on a 3-day chart back in late September, early September, you can actually see that the price dropped sharply from about 11,000, from around 11,500 towards 9,800, 10,000 area. And then you can see this 3 candle, right? Usually what happens is after a sharp drop to the downside, price go to the upside like this and then come back below, retest this area. Now, if you go into different charts like Ethereum, XRP and all, you kind of get that clear picture. You can see that really happened there. But here you got a red shaped candle, that's true, but after which the momentum looks like it's changing, right? The MACD is kind of showing that it may move to the upside, get across here, and then the price is showing a positive momentum. So in that aspect, you have to understand the price is about 9-day moving average, which is the shortest moving average which we usually follow to look at longer time frame charts like 3-day, weekly and all. Now, if you look at Ethereum, just to look at the concept for all coins, this is what you see. It was in a trading range for around 2 years or just about 2 years, and now we are still above that range. That's actually a positive sign, even though many guys are stating negative about the price for the general altcoin market cap, altcoin and all. You really have to understand it differs from project to project. However, this is what we can actually see. At the bottom, if you look at the MACD, the price is really consolidating here, but the MACD has went down, and now it is showing that it may go to the upside after that correction. Now, if you come back, look at the RSI along with the MACD and price, you get to see a double bottom in the RSI. That is kind of a signal that the price may go to the upside. If you look here and here, like this one and this one, price kind of made a double bottom, after which the price actually went from around $90 to $450. So that was a good rally if you look at that in that aspect, right? It's more than 400% gain for those who bought at the bottom. Now, even if you didn't exactly catch the bottom, you get in around 100, 110, still you got around 400% profit in that run. After which, price is correcting a little bit. It's not even going down that usual 50%, 40% and all. Why? Because this is the accumulation area for Ethereum, and the price went above that accumulation area, and it is now it is now in that reaccumulation phase. Now, why do we kind of highlight that there? Because when you look back at XRP on a weekly chart, we haven't even started that kind of a rally yet. That really means positive stuff for me. Like, yes, we are lagging, but if you are someone who missed that 400% rally in Ethereum and other coins, you still have an option, which is XRP, which is still waiting for that pump. Now, yes, the low was 0.12 and the last high was around 0.34, so that is like 200% gain, but not like 400 or 800, which is happening in other altcoins. And if you look at that general aspect of the accumulation and reaccumulation pattern for XRP, if you consider the accumulation, you can say that this particular red line, which you can see around 0.233, below that is kind of the accumulation area, right? So when the price is moving above that, the first accumulation area and then the second accumulation area will be around this area after we cross 0.35. So we haven't yet crossed and stayed above that 0.35 mark. So the reaccumulation phase of XRP is not yet there. But in the same chart, if you look at the RSI, the horizontal line which I have drawn here, you can see that during this time period, say from Jan 2017 towards November 2017, you can see that the price was actually going to the upside bullish mode, and the RSI was always above that line, which would be around 50. That's kind of the neutral area, right? It came back to the neutral and then bounced back upside, but afterwards the price went below that, right? Early 2018, but from that time till 2019 May, it didn't go up above that and stayed above there for a little while. But now is the chance where we are getting that after 2 years, right? It's also similar to that of Ethereum, as we just talked, right? So this kind of difference which shows here in RSI is also pointing towards a rising trend line support here. So if we are getting a bounce here, that would be really positive for XRP in a shorter time frame. But when you zoom in and look at that, yes, we do understand we broke above the long-term resistance line with that kind of a candle. That's positive, but you should be looking at this MACD that's showing a bit of negative momentum there. If we cross to the downside, that is actually a negative symbol. That's cautious, but do understand this was a long-term resistance now turned into a support. So this area should hold the price along with the horizontal support area, which lies from that 0.21 mark towards 0.23. Actually, personally, I added a couple of positions and I put a couple of orders if in case the price wicks or drops towards 0.21, 0.215 or 0.2 itself. I've put a couple of orders in each level at just a small difference. If at all the price goes there, I would be picking more up for trading position, not for the investment area, because different percentage of my portfolio I use it differently. Investing, I don't even touch that bag, but for trading I use 10 to 15% nowadays, and I trade with the market. And that really allowed me to gain some profits, readjust my portfolio, get into more units for XRP, or when I trade Ethereum, XRP, BTC and other pairs, which I usually mention it in the Patreon, we understand that the profit from there can be used to accumulate the asset which you really want to, right? Now, this one, when you look at that, you can also understand in the last bull run, whenever we did that, it was never a bad sign, right? So if you look at XRP on a shorter time frame, this is what you see. This is the 4-hour chart of XRP, and you can understand that we are still in that channel trend which we were discussing all the way from 7th of last month till now. So it's kind of a month of consolidation in that region. And now we kind of broke below this, and if you look this shorter time frame chart as a Wyckoff pattern, this is what you can actually see. We made a spring here, but we didn't actually manage to break above this level and create that reaccumulation phase here for this time frame. Instead, we came back below to retest this area, and we are retesting that particular region. And with this candle, if the price is not coming back to retest 0.23, then we should be going to retest this moving average, which is around 0.236. If we manage to break above that, it would go to the upside. Now, what you really have to understand here is, if you look at XRP BTC pair, it's showing something similar. If you look at XRP USD pair, it's showing something similar. And when you discuss that, you should understand one thing. When an asset is trending within one range, you can't actually completely say this is going to go that way, this is going to go this way. We are looking at the different possibilities, the probability of asset moving to different directions, right? So in this one, what you can personally see here is that the price was actually trending within that, and it is still trending within. But the only difference is, from this region, price is showing more traction towards the upside, right? It is going near that resistance line. If you plot this line correctly here, just to understand how things were actually being improvised within that pattern, you can see this was a resistance internally, right? Within that pattern inside that pattern. And now it's acting as a support. So as long as that support holds, I look forward for a bounce from here and a retest of this level and the break to the upside. That should take the price back towards around 3,000 satoshis for XRP BTC pair. Now when that happens, it should really be positive for XRP USD pair. Now these are the reason why we do trade, right? Because the market is always unpredictable. Human beings are involved, bots are involved, human psychology is foremost importantly involved. And that case, we understand everything changes. But if you concentrate on what really is happening to the minute scale, you can actually see some difference. If you argue this is double bottom, this one can be the third one, triple bottom. But if you look at the price fluctuation between this support and resistance zone, similar to that of XRP, which is trading in that range for last 1 month, instead Ethereum is trading in that range from last 2 months. And the difference is Ethereum is trading at the bottom of that same trend now, which is at the support level. And now the price action, the candle shows a reversal pattern, so that the price may be going towards 400, 410, 420 area. And if we manage to break above that, if the buyers are above here and trying to push it away from the sellers, there can be kind of a long wick taking out the stop losses of the sellers, or even getting a pump to the upside. So you should be really looking at a wick off or a fake out. If that doesn't happen, it should be a positive news, right? So when we look at different news, we all together understand that there are some negative issues. We can't close our eyes to that, but overall the market is actually showing you positive symbol. Why? The adoption rate, implementation rate, experimentation rate, everything is increasing. And what you really have to understand here is when the geopolitical scenario around the globe is going to the other side and stocks are really being affected due to some announcements. Now yes, along with at the same time, crypto also got affected, but I would say that these are one of the main issues that crypto got affected in this aspect, because otherwise, usually when these kind of negative scenario happen in the geopolitical scenarios, safe haven assets should go to the upside, like gold, silver, or anything. But actually, silver, gold, and all didn't actually do much well in that condition too, similar to that of the crypto. So we can't actually argue that it's not a store of value, or it's yes. Because if you are looking at store of value thing, for me, I would be comparing it with the fiat currencies or cash, right? How much can the cash store value for you? If it can't, then there is no meaning. Now, I would like to take you guys to this tweet from Real XRP Boy. It highlights something important. So no, it doesn't have to be gold. it may be possible to designate some other unit of value that is universally recognized, readily accessible to individuals, yet highly utilized by governments as a monetary reserve asset. That comes from Judy Shelton, right? So, the importance of these aspects are should not be actually neglected. Like, if you ask me, I would completely state that it should not be neglected. If you read this, miscalibration of monetary and credit to be produced to the productive needs of the organic economy suggests that a bubble may yet plunge the world into another global financial crisis. And what is the main purpose of XRP? To provide liquidity, to provide instant payments, and it has been talked by Chris Larsen that the world already has the tool to get away from these kind of crises. So if that is to happen, that is one of an area which XRP can be used as an important foundation there. So that is something to be considered. And this tweet from Fed Payments Improvement shows a remittance payment is commonly thought of as money sent from home by someone staying in a foreign country. Now, connecting this with what we stated in last video about SWIFT concentrating on the low value payments and the cost associated with those, I really understand. Some highlighted in the comment that SWIFT is like this, SWIFT is like that, SWIFT doesn't actually need to charge that, it's the banks who are charging it. So do understand, SWIFT works with the banks. SWIFT is not something like Ripple going alone and giving the opportunity to work alone or partnering with others and providing zero cost payments. No, it's not like that, right? SWIFT is partnered with banks and other financial institutions. So if SWIFT is working with the payment provider, then they should be looking at their profits, right? So without this technology, they will not be able to reduce that burden of a common man who's sending money from abroad. So the payment aspect is really important. And when we say that too, you really have to understand if they are using XRP, it's instantaneous payment, right? The liquidity is high, meaning the price can be bought and sold instantaneously. Thus, the demand is not rising and as well as the supply is not also affected, right? But here in this quote, you have to understand this. A question was asked previously. Now, remember this was way back in 2015. These guys are still staying on that same foundation. That's important. They're not changing their direction. When fraudsters come out and state Ripple, the company is changing their direction, blah blah blah, they are holding, they are doing this, they are doing that. You really have to understand the truth. And that's why we look back to the history. What will the majority of XRP be used for? What its purpose other than acting like an anti-spam incentive, and with it not being used with ILP ledger, will it get any real use at all in the future? So that was kind of the question towards the business model. And the response from Joel Katz is like this. XRP is a neutral, universal currency. It follows well-known rules and cannot have arbitrary rules imposed on it. And when they talk about that and you come to the bottom, you can understand. But I think it makes the ideal vehicle currency, meaning from one currency to another, you can bridge. So that is a bridge currency. For transactions that involve two assets that aren't sufficiently popular to have a rich direct order book, you can accomplish the transaction atomically, buying and selling the vehicle currency. Now the important area comes here. If you don't know which currency you are going to need to pay next, it makes sense to hold the vehicle currency. And that is why we say that yes, using it for payments is instantaneous. That doesn't actually increase the demand or supply, but the need to do that payment in future, looking at the price aspect and the chances that the price may go up, may actually push institution towards that area where they can buy this asset, the vehicle currency, the bridge asset, and keep it in their books and use it for that payments purpose, right? Nowadays, we can see that it is changing. The regulatory side is changing. Banks can hold the asset, banks can provide these services, and it is changing. So that kind of gives us an aspect that it is changing towards a positive scenario. Now, yes, we just saw that 32,000 Bitcoin was kind of withdrawn. Now that is actually a huge change in the market considering 335 million. Now when we say 335 million, do understand the total market cap of crypto is only 324 billion, right? We are in that 300 billion range. So this really means a huge fluctuation. Perhaps all stocks could become blockchain tokens. Now this goes back to what we talked yesterday about tokenization and different aspects, different institutions coming out and stating XRP ledger can be used for tokenization, and that really matters because when we enter into a digitized tokenized economy and institutions are coming out and looking for opportunity to tokenize in infrastructure, Ripple offers that infrastructure via XRP ledger. And tokenization, when getting into that climax, XRP ledger would be playing that role because it can give that interoperability layer using ILP. So for me, that's actually a positive news considering what we discussed yesterday. Well, Securities Clarity Act boosts crypto assets like XRP. Now that is kind of different aspects to look at, but here he states, I struggle to see how it could apply. Ripple sells XRP, not investment contracts, to fund creation of some new asset that may be delivered later. And regardless, the bill explicitly doesn't apply to an asset that is itself otherwise a security under who it is. So it wouldn't impact any arguments about whether XRP itself represent an investment contract at a time of sale. So for me, there is no kind of discussion about that XRP being a security. XRP classification in particular matters to Ripple. The global payment startup is currently facing lawsuits that allege it sold asset at an unregistered security. Now, keeping that in mind, you have to understand, SEC itself stated if it was something like this in the beginning and the evolution of that asset changed it to a utility token, then it is a utility token. So that kind of negative sense has to be taken out when you are looking at the market to invest in that asset. I hope you guys received value for your time, and if you did, please do support the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. If you'd like to extend your support, you can use the Patreon, PayPal or the XRP wallet address given in the description below. I'll meet you guys on the next video. Bye for now.